Hey guys, I'm struggling to find the words for this video. I want to talk about forgiveness. I want to talk about what it looks like, especially as someone who believes in God and how God uses like I don't know how to begin this because yesterday I was thinking and I was like I just felt like this sudden urge, like this urgency that I had to reach out to my ex stepmom and just say something. Like, I don't know why. Like, nothing's come of it yet, or I don't know if anything will. But growing up, I didn't have the best relationship with my stepmother, my ex stepmother. And I don't know, like, I realize as we get older, we realize that our parents are just people and they're just experiencing life. And it's not necessarily like, I'm not saying that we can't hold people accountable for how they treated us, but we can understand that parents aren't superhumans and they're gonna make mistakes, right? So I think when I wrote this, like, I don't want to say letter because nobody writes letters anymore, but when I wrote this message to her, I actually, when I was rereading it, because whenever I message anyone, I always reread what I'm saying. I don't know why, it's just something I do. But when I was writing this, I was like, this is actually bringing me some healing. And I think, like, over time, when you're going through a lot of like emotions and you're experiencing a lot of things in your life, like, I'm gonna use this word and it's a really strong word, but I hated my ex stepmother growing up. Like, I don't know, there was a lot of issues with, like, fighting for my dad's attention, and I thought she was jealous of my relationship with my dad. But over time, like, I start to see that maybe she wasn't the villain, like, maybe she was helping. Like, I don't know, maybe there's just things that I missed growing up. And I wanted to recognize that and I wanted to reconcile some of those feelings, but I can't say she'll be reciprocal. Maybe she'll say something not so nice. I don't know. And maybe the point isn't to get a response, but it's just to say Jesus can use our past as an opportunity to heal our inner child. And forgiveness is not linear. It's not something that we can just do once, especially when there's childhood wounds, especially when you may or may not still have contact with somebody. You may or may not know how they feel about the situation, right? So it's like you kind of have to understand that forgiveness, it can be an instant decision, but it's something you actively have to pursue, especially because I didn't know that I wasn't over certain things until I wrote this letter or message. And I realized that, like, in these instances, like, I know that I have healed as a person from my past to a point, but I still hold on to a lot of resentment. And I mean, I've seen videos of people saying, like, oh, like, bitterness, resentment, anger, like, those are emotions that cannot go to heaven with us. So when we feel these emotions still, we need to resolve them. We need to figure out, like, the best course of action. And sometimes, like, you can say I forgive someone, but in your heart, you know it's not true. And even when I've said I've forgiven someone, like you, when you're trying to forgive someone or even yourself or certain situations, it's not linear. Like I said, like, it's something you have to actively pursue and say, God, take this from me, like, or help me figure this out. Like, why am I still attached to this feeling, And sometimes it can take years to resolve. Like, sometimes these things don't just happen overnight, but if you're actively trying to have that conversation with God and just say, I still have these emotions. Where are they coming from? And even, like, we know ourselves, like, we can be completely over something, but then we meet someone similar or we engage with like someone about our past and it kind of still burns and leaves like that unwelcoming feeling of like repressed emotion, then it can be really difficult to navigate. So I just want to let you know that You are on a path with Jesus, and Jesus is on a path with you. But Jesus knows your heart more than you do, and He knows the strongholds on your life. And when you are ignoring those strongholds, it takes a long time to get over those hurdles. And I know myself, like I've forgiven this person in my past enough to know, okay, maybe in the end I thought that if they were no longer together that I would have some sense of relief and maybe get my father back, but that's not how it works, honestly. And I still have some, you know, some healing to do, but I just wanted to share kind of a little bit about how healing happens unexpectedly. Like last night, Jesus was urging me to say something. And I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe I'll never know why, but it's definitely a journey. Um and I hope that if there's anyone that you need to forgive or even yourself, um you know that Jesus is there, and he's there to bring opportunities to you to really assess your life. And sometimes things happen sooner than others. Like sometimes you're like, yeah, this life lesson I've got under control, or maybe not under control, but maybe this life lesson you've already completed with God, and maybe you don't need to revisit it, right? But sometimes it's like it wouldn't hurt to look at circumstances from different eyes. And maybe like if you're still in your grief about something, you're not ready to kind of see the full picture. And I wasn't for years. I wasn't ready to acknowledge that this person was even worthy of forgiveness to me. And this is coming from someone who cannot determine worthiness of forgiveness. These are real raw emotions. Like we can hide behind Jesus all we want and say that we know better, but sometimes we know better and we still do the things that we know better that we shouldn't be doing. Like we know that forgiveness is key to having eternal life. However, when we struggle with these things, it's really important to, you know, be obedient to God when He's calling us to make these hard decisions. And He's doing it with us. And I just think in these instances, it's really important to note that you are in your own way. You are stopping yourself from truly embracing things. And forgiveness is not about, if you're new to forgiveness, it's not really about the other person, it's about yourself. It's releasing. It's giving up that need to I don't know, whatever you're feeling, captured, like captivated, captured by it. It's giving up the entrapment that you might feel to that emotion, to that feeling, to the person. And it doesn't mean you have to have a relationship with the person. It doesn't even mean that anything will come out of the situation for me. But forgiveness is something that is crucial to our own journey, you know? Anyways, I'm babbling on and on and on, but I really feel that Jesus led me to make this video, and Jesus led me to reach out last night. And I don't know, something might come of it, something may not. But if you made it this far, thank you for watching and have a nice day.